Okay, so this is called the difference quotient. And what we're going to do is take the things that are in the parentheses, in this case the 5 plus h, and that goes in for x in the f function. So your first step is to rewrite 5 with parentheses minus parentheses squared, and then those parentheses get replaced with the 5 plus h. Okay, that's your step 1. Then, let's simplify that. Distribute the 5, so 25 plus 5h minus, then if you need to, write this twice, or you can use the pattern. So 25 plus 5h minus 25 plus 10h plus h squared. Now notice I've kept the parentheses around that, and that's important because now we have to distribute this negative. 25 plus 5h minus 25 minus 10h minus h squared. 25 and the negative 25 equals 0. 5h minus 10h is negative 5h, and then minus h squared. Okay, that part that we just did is just this part of the equation. So now we're going to do f of 5. That's step 2. So f of 5 means we rewrite the f function with parentheses instead of the x's, and we replace the x's with 5. (25) minus 25 ends up to be 0. So the 0 is this part. Step 3 is substitute. So we're going to go back to this. We now know that f of 5 plus h is negative 5h minus h squared. There's a minus sign in between, and f of 5 is equal to 0. The denominator is h, right there. We don't do anything with it, we just rewrite it. Now in the top, this 0 we don't really need to write. We can factor an h out of the numerator, and that is going to simplify, and so our answer ends up to be negative 5 minus h. And then that's done. Number 10 is very similar, except that over here for f of x we don't have a number right there. So we're going to start here. The x plus h inside the parentheses replaces the x's in the function. So write the function parentheses squared minus 4 times parentheses plus 7. Rewrite the function without the x's. Replace the x with the x plus h. Now, in order to try to save you steps, I'm going to go ahead and do the substitutions at the same time. So this part right here is all of this. And then I'm going to put a minus sign. Okay, there's all of the f of x plus h. This minus sign is right here. And now f of x is just the function as it is. So we rewrite the function x squared minus 4x plus 7 just the way it looks. And then the denominator is h. Now we have to clean it all up. So x plus h squared, I'm going to use the pattern there. It's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Distribute the negative 4, minus 4x minus 4h plus 7. Distribute the negative, minus x squared plus 4x minus 7, whole thing over h. Now we have some stuff that goes away. X squared minus x squared is 0. Negative 4x and positive 4x is 0. Positive 7 and negative 7 is 0. So we're left with 2xh plus h squared minus 4h over h. Factor in h out of the top. H times 2x plus h minus 4. Simplify, and we're left with 2x plus h minus 4. And that's done. All right, so read the problem, underline what's important, and circle the question. A pebble is dropped into a calm pond, causing ripples in the form of concentric circles. The radius in feet of the outer ripple is r of t equals 0.6 t, where t is the time in seconds after the pebble strikes the water. The area A of the circle is given by a of r equals pi r squared. Find and interpret a of r of t and a of r of 2. All right, so here's what's happening. We are dropping a rock in the water, and when you drop it, it makes little ripples, makes little circles around it. So it looks kind of like that. R of t is 0.6 t. R of t is the radius of the circle at any given point in time. So from here or here or here, that's your radius. T is the time. It's the time after you drop the rock in the water. So A of r of t, well, let's back up. This one, A of r is pi r squared. A of r is the area of the entire circle, and r is the radius at that particular time. So A of r of t means that we are putting the radius into the area function. So the area function needs to be written first with a blank in place of the r, and then we replace that r with the 0.6 t. Point 0.6 squared is 0.36, so it ends up to be 0.36 pi t squared. Okay, so that's the first part of this question. A of r of t is this. Now the interpretation. Remember, this part is the area, and t is time. So the interpretation is that the area of the circle after t seconds is 0.36 pi t squared. That's what we just found. So when it asks you for the interpretation, I think it's helpful if you label what you have and then you just write a sentence telling what those labels are. Now the second part of this is asking you to find A of R of 2. That means that we substitute 2 for t. .36 pi times 4 is 1.44 pi, which is approximately 4.52 square feet. The interpretation of that is that the area of the circle after 2 seconds is 4.52 square feet. So the interpretation is kind of like labeling your answers.